Everybody's talking about multi-agent apps, but how do they actually work?
Let me show you.
Welcome to the show, Miguel. We're thrilled to have you. For our audience, could you tell us a bit about what you do here at Google Cloud?
Hello, Martin. As a cloud engineer, I support our top customers using Google's AI products, from training custom models in Vertex AI to tackling challenges like model reliability and networking once their models are deployed.
That's serious expertise. And you have a deep background in core engineering too, right?
That's right. Before joining Google, I focused on network orchestration, and one of my biggest projects was helping to build out the 5G network infrastructure in Japan for the Olympic Games.
Impressive. And speaking of orchestration, you have built a multi-agent app?
Yes, I wanted to show you how to use Google's Agent Development Kit, so I wrote an ADK app that lets the user and an LLM write a poem together. I called it Poet 1. And this is what it looks like. I will type hello Poet 1 just to make sure that it's working. Okay, it responded. The app is working. It's asking what we should write a poem about. What do you think?
How about we write a poem about multi-agent apps, an ADK?
That's nice. And this will probably be the first poem about that topic, so sounds good. You will see that the app calls the first agent, which is the Muse agent.
Okay, and what does the Muse agent do?
So the Muse agent will come up with the themes and concepts for the poem. You can see here's the agent's response. And you see that it proposes a core emotion like digital harmony, synchronized thought. Then it suggests a visual anchor, sounds, textures, and metaphors. It's basically a brainstorming session.
I like the metaphor of a silent conductor of a symphony of logic.
Yeah, I like that one too. The app gives me a chance to add, change, or clarify any of these building blocks before we proceed. But I think we both like the Muse agent's output, so let's proceed. I will ask Poet 1 to keep the poem short, only 6 lines.
Good. I like short poems.
And the architect proposed using the form sestet in couplets for this poem because it reflects the synchronized harmony of the core concept of the poem.
Very good.
Sounds like we are happy with this, so I will ask Poet 1 to write the first draft. Now the scribe agent takes over and we'll use the output coming from the Muse and the architect as inputs to write the poem. Here's the first draft.
Okay, let's see. Threads of code across the loom alight. That's a pretty good start. I like the other lines too. But Miguel, maybe we could put some more emphasis on the orchestration of agents in the poem.
Yeah, no problem. We can tell the scribe agent to do that, and it will again take the input from previous agents, this first draft, and our feedback into account to write a new draft. Here it is.
A silent hand conducts the beat. That's a great way to add more orchestration to the poem. Miguel, are we done?
We are almost there. You see, when an agent does work for us, it's often helpful to let another agent review the output. So now the critic agent will review the poem. And it actually found a verb that can use some fixing.
Yeah, I guess the verb make could be stronger.
I will now ask Poet 1 to finish the poem based on this review. And the wordsmith agent takes over. It uses inputs from the previous agents and finishes the poem. In the revision notes, you see that it replaced the weak word make with martial to create a sense of action and control.
And also thought that the word symphony was predictable, and it replaced that. I agree with that replacement. Currents, sharp and fleet is better.
And there it is, the finished poem. But what do you think, Martin?
A silent hand conducts the beat to martial currents, sharp and fleet. The threads of code now join and weave, a harmony our minds conceive. One logic flows from every part, directed by a single heart. Not bad at all. I think the only other poem I've read about computers is All Watched Over by Machines of Loving Grace by Richard Brautigan. But that poem was written by a human about computers.
And now this poem was written by a human, or should I say, two humans, together with a computer.
Yes, it was. I think AI and humans create the best work when they work together, like you showed us here. But the AI here is really multiple agents, right?
That's right. Here are the agents, and for complex tasks like writing a poem, it's best to build multiple agents. That way, each agent can focus on one part of the problem.
I see. And what does the code look like?
It was fairly simple. You see, first I wrote the root agent. It's called Poet Coordinator. You can see that it's an object of type LLM agent. I tell it which model version to use. I gave it a description so the ADK know what it does. I gave it a prompt. Down here I defined this agent's output variable so other agents can use it. And I told it what sub-agents it has access to. Finally, I told ADK that this Poet Coordinator is the root agent, which basically means that it receives the initial user request.
Okay, that looks pretty simple. What does the prompt look like?
That's where the magic happens. First, I tell the Poet Coordinator what its role is, and then I give it overall instructions for how to interact with the user and the sub-agents. Then I gave it a step-by-step breakdown, as you can see.
Got it. And what about those sub-agents?
The code for the sub-agents is really similar to the root agent. Here, the code for the scribe agent, for instance, I tell it which model to use. I also gave it a prompt. I defined this agent's output variable so other agents can use it. And now moving to the scribe's prompt, it includes the agent's overall goal, the inputs it should use from other agents, the processes it should follow, and how to format the output.
So far, you've only shown me code for the actual agents. Now, where's the code that ties them together and orchestrates them into an application?
Yeah, the ADK ties my agents together for me, so I don't have to write any glue code. That means that I can focus on building my agents. The root agent, in this case, the poet coordinator, orchestrates the other agents.
This all looks great, Miguel, but I have some questions for you.
Yeah, go ahead, Martin.
Now, why did you use multiple agents? Why not just write up a long prompt and send it to the LLM?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, specialized agents are smarter, and especially if the subtasks are very different from each other. For example, if your AI application responds to cybersecurity incidents, you might want it to analyze the cause of the incident, fix the incident, and communicate with the users. These three subtasks would require very different skills and tools, and you don't want your AI to accidentally mix them up.
Okay, I understand that we need multiple agents. Now, how do these agents communicate with each other?
Yeah, so each agent can use the output key from any other agent in its prompt. For example, the Muse agent's output it's defined right here, and right here it is used by the scribe agent's prompt.
I see. Now, why did you choose to use the ADK and not just write the code for putting the agents together yourself?
Yeah, first of all, because I can define the workflows for multi-agent apps with the ADK, and I can do it in plain English. No much code is needed. Second, the ADK keeps track of session data and makes sure that each agent gets the data it needs from the other agents. Finally, the ADK provides a nice web tool for testing and troubleshooting my agents before I deploy them.
Very good. So, Miguel, what did you learn as you wrote this multi-agent app?
So it's again three things. I learned that it's easy to create multi-agent apps with the ADK. Also that you get best results if you let the AI focus on one task at a time. Agents make that possible. And finally, you can deploy your multi-agent apps to Cloud Run with a single command, so other people can use it.
Good takeaways. Thank you for joining us today, Miguel.
Thanks for having me, Martin.
And thank you, everyone, for watching. If you have any questions for Miguel or me, add them in the comments. Also, please let me know what you thought of today's episode. I read every single comment. Now, you have the tools, and I can't wait to see what you build.